emotions tonight. We're going to be learning how to lay the groundwork, because a lot of times when we get into positive thinking and wanting to live a better life, it becomes very frustrating, actually, and you don't feel more positive. You feel worse sometimes, and that's because a lot of the foundational stuff isn't taught. It's like, just think happy things, and it seems so easy. It seems so simple, and honestly, guys, it is simple. It is that simple, but there's a but. You just got to learn some things, and that's okay. That's what we're here for tonight. We're here to learn how to do that. We're going to feel to flourish, and we're going to capitalize on using our emotions to unleash our power into this world, because you're powerful. I'm powerful. We're all powerful, and we're going to shine our light, and we're going to do that using our emotions. So let's get started. Let's jump in. Welcome again. I am Shannon Kay. I am your mindset coach. I am here for you. A lot of you know me from my podcast or from social media. Welcome tonight. I am so glad you're here. So let's talk about how all this started with me. Like, who the hell am I to be on here telling you? Let's talk about it. I was a career-driven woman. I was dedicated to my family. So I was like the do-it-all person. I had all the boxes checked off of what I was supposed to do in the world, but the typical way just really didn't resonate with me. And this showed up in the things that I would do, but it was real small until I dove into it head first and began to coach others, believe it or not. So there was always like this little voice inside me that was like, this just ain't it. And I would follow it and I would kind of step into it, and I really didn't know anything about it. And then an opportunity came to me that allowed me to really dive into what I knew, which was optimism and hope and looking on the bright side. And the glass is always half full, because that was me down in here. But everybody kept telling me, no, that ain't reality. So I was given an opportunity to learn and coach and train others on being more positive. What in the what? Okay, so I didn't have to be stuck in the status quo of what everybody said you should do and how you should see life, and that little thing that was deep down inside me all along that was just like itching to get out just exploded, and here I am today. But before that, I felt stressed out and burnt out and tired, and like I was treading water. Like nothing I was doing was getting me where I wanted to go. And what I really wanted was time freedom and ease and enjoyment and peace and fulfillment, and still make an impact. Those were the things that were important to me. That's what I wanted in my life. Those were really my desires. But I thought, well, geez, in this world today, you can't have that. And then I could. And the opportunity presented itself to me. And since I had that little voice in me that was like, the glass is always half full, I jumped on it. So that's how it all started. So how's it going now? I have peace. I have joy. I have happiness from within. From the inside, no longer external validation or checking off the list or, thinking, did I make the mark of what society said I should do? No. It all comes from within now. And I live life on my own terms. I choose what, who, and when to give my time and my talents to. I run a successful coaching business, and I get to express my purpose to the world in a way that feels good to me. And life should feel good to you. So now I'm joyous and I'm energized and I'm hopeful and I'm proud. I have a lasting impact on others, and I feel free. There's no greater feeling to me than the feeling of free. And I'm peaceful and I'm fulfilled. And I want that for you. And we all start somewhere. So like drop a heart, drop a something, any kind of emoji you want to, if you want to move how you feel to a place where you do feel like the shackles have come off and you're stepping into this life that feels magnificent to you. Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. Through this masterclass, there's going to be a flow. I like you to know where you're going, because as much as I have let go of the how now, that other part of me still wants to know, where the hell are we going? So why do emotions matter? The 4 quadrants of emotions: emotional identification and positive strategies. I'm about balance, y'all. I used to be very extreme on any side, but I'm about balance. So we're going to know where we're going to go. But we're going to, I work with my clients on how to let go of the how. That's more in-depth stuff. This is the foundational stuff that I work with my clients on, and I'm bringing it to you. All right. So I want you to remember, as we go through this, the expert at anything was once a beginner. And this quote has been with me for like 15 years. And I use it in any new venture I take on, any new thing that I do. I don't care if I'm just, learning how to paint something for the first time. I ain't no expert. I'm just beginning, and that's okay. But eventually, the more you do it, the more of an expert you become. And the same thing about identifying your emotions and knowing how you feel. It's the same thing. So I really teach the people that I work with and that I coach to work in non-judgment. We'll talk more about that later. But this really helped me with that, not judging myself, because I was my biggest critic my whole life. So the expert at anything was once a beginner, and just really holding on to that for me. If that resonates with you, yay, let me know. And also, if you have something else that resonates with you that comes within this realm, hold on to that for yourself. So why do emotions matter? So here's the connection. Emotions are signals from your inner self. They're guiding you towards your desires, and they're helping you discern what you don't want. That's why negative emotions aren't bad. And they're your compass. All these emotions are your compass. They're just leading you to your purpose and to your passion. So by cultivating an understanding and awareness of your emotions, you gain the ability to unearth and overcome limiting beliefs. We all got limiting beliefs, y'all. All of us got them. And then you shift away from survival mode, which is about breaking free from the confines of the flight or fight reactions that we have. In modern day times, most of the survival mode we live out is stress, burnout, and overwhelm. And we're constantly stuck there trying to fight our way out of stress, burnout, trying to fight, or we just might fly away from it. We might freeze. But a lot of us are stuck there in these days and times. So this is an intentional understanding that empowers you to create more pleasing emotions and fostering a mind-heart coherence. The more complex part of creating the life you desire is creating mind-heart coherence. How do you even do this? With your emotions, you start here. This is one of the gateways that you can go into to do that, because you have your internal guidance system, okay? Here, you guys, point. Here's your internal guidance system. It's always there. It's not going anywhere. It's in you all the time. But once you bring some understanding and awareness, self-awareness is so key to your emotions, then you can move into positive living and peace. You hear more from your internal guidance, and your internal guidance just wants you to have a good life. So it's going to steer you where you need to go. And so the more aware you are, the greater you're going to feel and the farther you're going to go in your life. So that's kind of like the connection and getting there. And it doesn't mean that you don't ever feel bad. And we're going to go over that. Self-awareness is the foundation. If you're not aware of how you feel, you can't master the emotions to use them to unleash your power, to really take those emotions and use them as a way to create that life that you desire. Because what you think, you believe what you think. I don't care what anybody says. What you feel, what you think, you believe. And that's what you have. And that's what comes in your life. We do believe this. I was talking with another coach, and we were talking about manifesting and believing and all these things. And one of the things that came up is like, if you say, oh, I'm gonna be late for work, and you call and you're like, oh, I have a flat tire, so I'm gonna be late for work, even though you don't, because you just overslept, you really believe. How many times you say, oh, I really don't want to say I have a flat tire because then I'm gonna get a flat tire. Like if I say it, that's what I'm gonna get, right? So you do believe what you think or feel does have some kind of correlation in your life. Unfortunately, in society, we're conditioned that if we just think negative things, of course, that's going to come to you, but not positive things. I don't know why we're conditioned that way, but if it works for one, it's going to work for the other. And then learning precise emotion naming, which is so important, really digging down deep into what am I feeling? What's the name of that emotion? And bringing life to it. And the more you do this, the more names you're going to have for emotions. And then cultivating judgment-free emotional awareness. Judgment-free is so important. Remember, beginner to expert, you're learning. You may have some of this, we're all on different, paths where we're at, right? Some are at the beginning, some are in the middle, some are good way up here. We all want to be way up here, but everybody starts somewhere. Nobody starts up here. So let's just do this without judgment. It's not a race, it's your own journey, and loving on yourself. Self-compassion is key when we're doing this. And then mastering transitioning to emotional well-being. And that's just saying, okay, I know what to do when I'm feeling negative emotions. Because a lot of times we don't know what to do. We think, oh, I'm just supposed to think happy thoughts. Just think happy thoughts. That's not the way. The way is to transition. So we're going to talk about how to do that. So here are the biggest mistakes that I made when I started on this path that I don't want you to make. So if you're just starting or you've been doing this for a little bit, you might find yourself in one of these, or I just don't want you to do these, y'all. I'm here for you, and I don't want you to go down the road that I went down with these 3 major mistakes. The first one was judging my emotions once I was aware of them. So I got this profound self-awareness, which was great. But then it made me feel worse about myself because I kept criticizing myself for having negative emotions. So judging your emotions is a mistake. That's a mistake I made. Another mistake I made, the second one, was thinking that if I ignored my negative emotions, they'd go away. Like, just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. No, that's not how it happens, right? Usually, the more we try to forget about something, the more we think about something. And then the third mistake was believing that I had to always feel positive and that if I wasn't, I had to start all over. So, I went through, I had a couple really great positive days, and then I had an off day. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to start all over again. I messed up this mindset thing. I got to go all the way back to the beginning. And that was another mistake. And you don't. And let me know if you've ever felt these things or experienced these things when going on a journey to have a more positive mindset in your life or to transform your life. And really, you're really looking inward because we're looking inward at ourselves. Have you felt judgment? Have you tried to ignore negative emotions? Do you believe, oh my gosh, I messed this up. I got to start this whole process all over again. I messed up again. Have you ever felt any of those things? Drop it in the comments and let me know. So we hear coaches a lot talking about mindset coaches, manifesting coaches, all the gurus. They're going to say, raise your vibration, right? And I wanted to get this misconception out of the way when we're talking about emotions, because the most common misconception in the realm of mindset is the belief that one must always maintain a high state of energy, right? Happiness. You have this unyielding enthusiasm. If you watch any of my TikToks, you'll know sometimes I'm goofy and sometimes I'm more serious and other times I'm just like, in between. I don't have a constant state of unyielding enthusiasm. But this thought or misconception leads to either trying to suppress your emotions or ignore negative emotions in an attempt to keep up a facade of perpetual positivity, because we think that's what it means. And the key is to truly raising your vibration lies in understanding both positive and negative emotions. By embracing the full spectrum of emotions, you unlock a more authentic and sustainable path to manifestation. So it's embracing emotional authenticity. It's learning from negative emotions. It's that emotional awareness, always coming back to that awareness. Because in life these days, life is so busy, right? Like, let me know, you got a busy life? Yes, you have a busy life. So we get so busy that we're running on autopilot, just trying to make it through the day, and we're not being aware. And so this is about emotional awareness and transforming negative energy, because you can take it and transform it. Just because you want to have a positive mindset, it doesn't mean you're always going to be positive. But because of this misconception that you have to be, then you have the judgment, and then you feel like a failure and all of these other things, when that's not the case. So let's just get that misconception out of the way from the beginning as we continue on in this journey. So the 4 quadrants, my most favorite thing. This is my most favorite thing. I teach this with everybody when I'm doing masterclasses, when I'm working with clients. Like, we always tap into this in our stuff. So we have to understand the emotional quadrants. And that's the starting point when we're talking about emotions and where they are. Because remember, people want you to raise your vibration, right? So let's talk about our vibration and the quadrants. So over here, this is where we're raising our vibration. So when people say, high vibe, have a good vibe, high vibes, this is here on this side. And then over here, when they're like, oh, so-and-so got low vibe energy, whatever. This is what they're talking about over here. That's what they're talking about. But let's really break this down, because you have high intensity negative emotions and you have high intensity positive emotions. So a lot of people get stuck in that facade of high intensity positive, and that's where I always have to be. Like, I always have to be here. But there's all this right here, and you're a whole human. Let's just look at this holistically. You're never always going to be here. You're just not. And there's a reason for that, because your inner being is going to be telling you different things. Like this over here, there's positive things to these low vibes over here. And so you have the high intensity and the high intensity, both positive and negative. Then you have low intensity negative emotions and low intensity positive emotions. So there are both. And these are just like the intensity and the feelings, that the energy going through your body. And you don't always have to be high intensity positive. Those negative emotions have a purpose. And once we accept that they have a purpose, then we don't judge them as much. So when I know that a negative emotion can tell me, oh, I just don't want that. I don't like this. Okay, I'm not feeling it. That means I must not want it. Maybe I didn't know I didn't want it until I experienced it. Or what I found is the most profound thing is it helps you really tap into what your limiting beliefs are. If you're always feeling really good on the positive side, how are you dealing with limiting beliefs? Because we all have them. If I'm always feeling good, then that's saying I have zero limiting beliefs. I have nothing. And we all do. And we find different limiting beliefs as we go, and we uncover them, we get rid of them, because we've all been conditioned by society. Some of us have been through trauma, like myself included. There's all these things. If you've been in toxic relationships, you know how this goes. Then you develop limiting beliefs. Okay. Those negative emotions cue you in on them, because sometimes when you think you've gotten over a limiting belief, something might happen. You're like, oh, okay, that's a little bit deeper. So it really helps you to discover that. So that's the breakdown of the emotions. And you're going to feel all of these things in your life. You're going to feel them. You can feel all of these areas within 20 minutes of each other. Emotions come and go. It's okay. But when you're shifting your emotions, the thing to understand is it's easier to go from a high intensity negative emotion to a high intensity positive emotion. So really you're saying, I want a more positive mindset. I don't want to be stuck. Right? I don't want to be stuck in the negative. And the more you use this process, the easier it is to go from feeling like, oh, I don't like how this feels, over to this feels really good. And you're able to clear stuff out in the process. You're able to let go, to let in. So understanding that if I'm feeling a high intensity negative, it's easier for me to jump over to a high intensity positive emotion. If I'm feeling a low intensity negative, it's easier for me to jump into a low intensity positive to make the shift over to where I want to be. I don't got to be mad at this side over here. We're not mad at this side. Remember, we're like, okay, you show me something, but now I need to go over here. And like I said, the more you do it and the more you do it, the better it gets. So it's just easier to go that way. It's very hard to go from a low intensity negative up to a high positive, or from a high intensity negative down to a low intensity positive. So just going across, just understanding that. That's a great way to start your shifting. Now, do we understand that? What's the first layer? And the first layer is the mad, happy, sad, calm. And so when you have asked people, well, how are you feeling today? Oh, I feel happy. Or how are you feeling? Oh, I'm calm, I'm sad, I'm mad. Like, these are just basic vocabulary words that we reach for when we're talking about how do we feel. We may throw a couple other ones in there, but these are the general ones that people use the most, and understanding where they fall. So if I'm feeling mad, then I'm up here in these high intensity negatives. If I'm happy, I'm up in these high intensity positive. And this is where I think it really kind of clears some stuff. What do you mean low intensity positive? Calm. It don't take me a whole lot of energy to be calm. In fact, I just have low energy when I'm calm. I'm just chill, right? That's a low intensity. It doesn't take all that energy. So remember that misconception about like, I always have to be up here in this high intensity, positive, happy, woo, woo. You don't. You're not always going to be there. But that doesn't mean that you're not being positive or having a positive mindset, because you can have low intensity positive, like calm. And then we always think like negative, has to be like, oh, really bad feeling. You mean you may feel sad or you may feel mad. There's a whole bunch of emotions that go into each of these. These are just kind of the basic, if you just want to wrap your mind around that, which emotions might fall into the quadrants, it's going to be the ones that fit in these categories. So what about emotional identification? Because you might be like, girl, didn't we just identify your emotions? Not all of them. We really want to get specific. We have to expand our emotional vocabulary. So we have the 4 quadrants, and that's a good basis of understanding and really wrapping your brain around that. What makes it high? What makes it low? And now it's time to move more vocabulary in each of these areas and get real specific with what you're truly feeling. The more you do this, the more words you will build. I remember one time I had a masterclass with about 30 people, and anytime we got together, before we started and when we ended, we will always say where we were feeling in the quadrant. And the more we went on, people were adding, they were adding emotions of what they were feeling on there, which was really, really fun. So the more you do this, the more you're going to build out each sections as you experience them, because you're going to start really becoming in tune with how you're feeling. And you're going to be like, oh, and then this is where it goes. And you're going to be able to start really placing those emotions with the intensity that they fit into. So let's go deeper. That might look like in the mad area that you're frustrated or shocked or nervous or frightened or stressed. And y'all, this is a very basic list. For those of you that signed up for the VIP experience, you're going to be getting a more in-depth list and how to use it. If you didn't sign up for that, you can go to livelifeunapologetically.com/emotion. You will get a replay of this masterclass, and you're going to get a resource that goes with it for identifying your emotions and going deeper into your emotions. So livelifeunapologetically.com/emotion. You can get it there. So let's really look at these emotions. Like I said, this is just real basic. Like I just picked a few out of each category. So here's mad. So I'm frustrated, I'm shocked, I'm nervous, I'm frightened. And I think the one that I love the most, that I work with people the most, like I'm so mad. I'm like, are you mad? And I talk about this on social all the time. I think this is one of my favorite ones to identify. It's like, are you mad or are you frustrated? Because which feeling is it? And really going deep into what you're feeling, because I may want to throw this water bottle across the room because my computer is messing up. Am I really mad or am I frustrated, y'all? How am I really feeling? Let me think about that. So that's going deeper and identifying how you're feeling. Speaking of water, I didn't say this at the beginning, but I always tell everybody, like, grab a drink, cozy up, get comfortable, be in your PJs. I have my little slipper socks on right now. Be comfortable. Like, let's be comfortable together. So how are you feeling? You know, I'm taking on a new project. I'm feeling frightened or scared, unsure. Those are high intensity negatives, right? And then and happy, you got motivated and optimistic and enthusiastic and inspired. And, I'm blissful. Like, blissful is definitely different than carefree, y'all, because blissful, like, woohoo, I'm feeling bliss up here, right? Carefree is like, I'm just, down here. And so you can see how different emotions fit different places. And sad, you could feel hopeless or exhausted or disheartened or bored or embarrassed. How are you really feeling? Man, I'm really sad. Are you sad or were you embarrassed? And we do say embarrassed sometimes. Maybe I'm bored. Did you know that bored is a low intensity negative? It don't feel good. Like, man, I'm bored. But I can go into being chill or carefree or restful or serene in this calm, low intensity. Those are all low intensity. Like, being restful is good. That is positive. We need that in our lives. But that's not this up here, happy, go, 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 like everybody wants to think this positive mindset is all about, right? So once again, we want to be on this side, but sometimes we're going to be on this side. You know what? We could be on all of these in one day. I've been in all of these within 20 minutes, because to go from here to here, y'all, it don't have to take hours. To go from here to here don't have to take hours. But when we're talking about, it's easier to go from, so say I'm frightened, I'm scared because I'm taking on a new project at work, right? And so I'm not really feeling it, or maybe I'm even nervous about it, right? Because they asked me to do something. And it's easier for me to go over to being enthusiastic about it, or it's easier for me to go and be inspired about it than to feel grateful, right? Like, because I'm kind of nervous. I don't know how grateful I'm feeling for this, but you know what? I could be inspired by it, and I can take that and I can use my gifts and my talents and I can move into it. It doesn't have to take very long. It can be like, oh, boss wants you to do this presentation. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Oh, but you know what? I'm going to be enthusiastic. This is kind of exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay. Like, you see how you can switch emotions pretty quickly. And so just understanding where they go and bringing that awareness and truly naming them for what they are, instead of just generalizing them, helps you to move. Because if I can say, if I'm mad, I'm going to do different things to move from being mad than I am from I'm frustrated and moving out of frustration. And I work with my clients. We go way deeper into that when it comes to using your emotions to uncover your limiting beliefs. But this is kind of the basic framework of where to start. You got to know how to name your emotions first before you start really digging down deep, and kind of make this a habit that you do throughout the day, to like stop throughout the day and be like, well, geez, how do I feel? And really naming, how am I feeling in this moment? So there's an identification rabbit hole that I do want to touch on. And that is that no emotion is bad or good. You might be like, but it doesn't feel very good when I'm feeling negative. But the emotion itself, frustration, is neither bad nor good. You might say that is bad. How can that not be bad? Well, it's telling you something. And that's the thing. Remember, our emotions guide us. It's telling us something. If you continually get in relationships and you have frustrating, let's say friendships, and you have all these friendships and they frustrate you, that can be an indicator to tell you if you have a limiting belief or something else. And then you can deal with it, but you're not going to know unless you experience those negative emotions. You're in the dark, right? So it's not bad. It's just telling me something. If something is there to help me, even if it doesn't feel good, then it's not bad. If it moves me towards something that I do want, if it moves me in a better direction, then it's not a bad thing. So not good, not bad. They just are. They're just your guidance system. Emotions change. Remember, we're not always going to be up there that high intensity positive. Your emotions change all the time. From the time that you joined this masterclass till this moment right here, your emotions may have changed. I know mine have. So your emotions are going to change, and they can change. I mean, we're at 26 minutes and 10 seconds right now. Your emotions can change in that time frame, and you will feel them all. There is no way you're going to just skip out on, I know we're looking at it different ways, but I was going to say the left or the right, but on the negative aspect part of the emotional quadrants, you're not going to skip out on that. You're going to feel all of them, high, low, positive, negative. You're going to feel them all, and that's okay. And the more you do it and the more you identify it, the easier it gets. And I want you to understand these things so that you're not doing it in judgment, so that you're not judging yourself and saying, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way. That's not how I'm supposed to feel. I'm supposed to be feeling happy. Don't judge yourself. I feel like that is so key in all of this. And that takes practice too. But the more you start identifying your emotions, the more you can be like, oh, okay, I'm criticizing myself. That makes me feel worse. And then you understand those feelings as well. Like that was me. Like I had to pause for a second because I remember so much that was me. Sometimes that still is me. But when I say it gets easier and easier with practice, I can go into judging myself and come out of it way quicker than sitting in it for 3, 4, 5 days like I used to. So you move quicker. See, it's not that you're never there. You just move quicker. So all these gurus and people, you think, oh my God, they got it all together. Baby, they're just moving quicker. That's all. They're just moving quicker. They're just moving faster because they've been practicing and doing it for some time. So if you're new to this, it might take you a few tries, okay, to do it. But the more you put it in practice, the easier it gets. So don't judge yourself because the expert at anything was once a beginner. So what are some positive strategies that you can use when you're trying to move your emotions? Some positive strategies are the first thing to do is just pause. Let's cultivate those shifts. Let's shift from the negative to the positive. Most of the time we're running through life on autopilot. Like I said, we're so busy. There's so much to do in modern day life. Is there not? And so while you may have a general sense of why you feel mad or happy or sad, ponder how many times you actually pause to be aware of how you're feeling. Pause. Throughout your day, how many times do you stop and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Like, how am I really feeling? Not denying your feelings if you're feeling kind of crappy, not that. It's saying, oh, I am feeling kind of crappy right now. Wonder why? Wonder what this feeling is. Oh, and naming it, pausing it, because that goes into naming it. Because once you pause and reflect, y'all, it don't take long. Y'all, 30 seconds. How am I feeling right now? Oh, I'm feeling pretty calm. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't take long. And the more you name, the more easily those names come to when you're feeling those emotions. And putting a specific name to it when you're having it. Am I mad or frustrated? Am I happy or excited? Right? Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm happy. Are you happy? Or are you freaking thrilled? Are you enthusiastic? Are you excited? Are you just all the things? Like, what happy are you? Expand on that. And so not just paying attention to when you're not feeling good, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, I just got to pay attention to these negatives and make them positive again. No, pay attention to the positive emotions. To understand your precise emotion allows you to understand how you're feeling and what you want to do with that feeling, which goes into reflection. Like, dude, I'm so excited. So I'm going to stay in this feeling and maybe even say positive affirmations to change some pathways in my brain. So those are the more advanced concepts that I teach when I'm coaching. But let's change these pathways because I'm feeling this and I'm going to say affirmation. But you can do that too. You don't have to understand the whole ins and outs. You'll learn that later, right? We're beginning right now, and that's cool. So when we're doing this, maybe you are going to say positive affirmations because you know that they're going to take hold in your subconscious better when you're feeling in these good, positive ways. Even when you're feeling calm, oh, I'm feeling this way. I'm going to throw in an affirmation. And understanding that once you bring awareness, then there are things you can do to cultivate shifts. Even feeling positive, you can cultivate shifts. Maybe you're over in the negative space. You can ask yourself some questions like, why am I feeling this way? What can I do to feel more positive? What could help me? So for example, I am frustrated with this task. So I'm going to take a break because I want to throw this thing at my computer right now because my computer keeps freezing, yada, yada, yada. It's pissing me off. I'm so upset. What can I do? What's going to help me? Continuing to try to do this? No, that's going to keep me stuck over here. What's going to unstick me is to walk away. I'm going to go get a drink of water. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to go, stick my head out the door and taking a deep breath. What's going to help me to move? And when we really hone in on being able to pause, name, and then reflect, that's when we start the practice of moving from the negative to the positive, which is where we're trying to go. We want to uplift those emotions. We want to uplift how we are feeling, because that is so important when you're trying to create a positive life and the life that you desire. But you have to know, how can I shift the emotions? And it takes practice, but the more you do it, the easier it gets, I promise. So quick actions in the moment are doing another activity, taking a moment to breathe, connecting it to an affirmation, or bringing appreciation into the moment. Because another thing that will help you to shift and move your reality to one that you desire is appreciation and gratitude. Anybody who's been around for a while knows on this, on my charms, I have one that says gratitude. That is something that I lean into so much. So when I'm feeling a high positive or low positive feeling, sending appreciation into that moment so that you can really make a connection between heart and mind. There we go. I was backwards. So you can create that, and pulling in that appreciation is